Switch. Hey everyone, hoping you're having a great day. It's Grow with Joe here to give you another lesson on how to grow yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So what I have to do right now is just get the Facebook Live going. So hold on a second. But today is Tuesday, February 25th. It's my third week in Medellin, so I've been here for 3 weeks now. Life is good. Earlier this morning, what I did is I went to the gym, did a Spanish lesson, had lunch, and then met with somebody here in Colombia to teach them social media marketing. That's something I do as a side business. So taught them how to set up Facebook ads, landing pages, and do email marketing using MailChimp. So we're going to meet again on Friday to go over that, to do the practical application. But yeah, overall life is good. Just registered for new classes today for my MBA. So I should be done in about a year and 14 months. No, a year and 15 months with that MBA. So sad, it's almost over. Well, it's not that big of a deal. It's a 2-year program. So I'm about 6 months into it. Only have 3 weeks left in this term, and then I started my next term March 25th. So I'm going to be taking managerial financing and marketing management. So those should be good classes to take. I'm a financial planner, so the finance class should be easy. Oh, well, hopefully. I still got to do all the homework and stuff. But today, what we're going to talk about, today's lesson is from the Daily Stoic right here. It's one of my favorite books to read. I post it every day on my Instagram stories, the today's lesson. And the lesson that really sticks with me is when he talks about how pain can instruct, but suffering is needless. And this is something I think about a lot is I don't want to be suffering with my time, but it can be painful. Like they can be both the same feeling, but you have to understand that pain instructs you to get better, like going to the gym or studying or writing or whatever, something to improve you. That could be painful, but it's going to help you get better. But you can have the same pain with suffering where you're dealing with something you don't really want to deal with. So let's say you're in a job that you hate and you see that there's no way of making it better, or just hanging around friends that are not really that helpful around for you, so you suffer to go, or like something like you're just dreading about doing. That's suffering. You can feel the same, but the key thing is the suffering is needless. Pain can instruct. And one of the valuable lessons that I learned in this one book called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield is that you got to know how to be miserable. So he was a Marine, I was a Marine. So I went through some miserable things, but those were painful, but they instructed me to get better. They made me realize like, hey, I can deal with little sleep and still get the mission done. I can deal with stressful situations, but it helps me get to the other end. But like there comes a point where like in the Marines, you have a choice. Do I stay in or do I get out? And most people say when it starts becoming fun, that's when you get out. It can be painful, but it can still be fun. But when it becomes something that's causing you misery or suffering, then it's time to make a switch. So you got to really understand the difference between the two, and realize that like for any obstacle is probably going to be painful at some time. but those are learning experience, like to help for me and this Grow with Joe business. I'm a financial planner, so I have to like do everything on my own right now, go out and find clients, do financial plans. But it can be painful at times because you're like, oh, I had to try this market plan, it's not working, or I'm trying to do this with this client. I already have 5 years of experience, so starting this my new thing is not as painful when I first started. But hey, I had to get through those pain points to realize like, hey, I actually love what I'm doing. I just have to keep trying and keep going. And that pain instructed me to get better. Yeah, I remember about like 3 years ago, I was not doing really good in my business. Things were not going well at all. And from that point, like I just decided I wanted to learn more about financial planning and how to become a better financial planner. And that led me to Michael Kitz's podcast, which he created with Alan. Forget his last name. This should be bad. But him and Alan created the XY Financial Planning Network, which helps fee-for-service financial advisors get started and have a nice community. And so, but I didn't join that community until like 2 years later. But by going through that painful point and like realizing like, hey, I got to learn to get better, I just started learning more about financial planning as an industry and like what's normal, what's not, like what are the metrics for success and everything. And so I was using that pain point as a way to instruct me like, okay, if I want to get out of this hole, and the first thing you do when you're in a hole is you stop digging. So I stopped digging. I was like, okay, I oriented myself and I decided, okay, I want to move in this direction. So I'm going to need to learn about these materials to help me get better. And it wasn't until a year and a half later where I realized like, hey, I'm not really enjoying my time here at my current company, at my last company. And then once I found out like I could start my own company where I combine self-development coaching and financial planning for folks, I'm like, okay, that's what I want to do. And so going through that painful point, it instructed me to get better. And I would not be here in Medellin, Colombia right now if I didn't take that pain and use it to instruct me to get better. And there was times when I was in the Marines where I was like, yeah, I got to get out. This is not worth it. I'm just suffering right here. I want to do these other things, but this is not helping me at all. So I had to stop doing that as fast as possible. And there's other things where I was suffering through where I was joining like too many networking groups and overcommitting myself, and I was suffering like I was dreading. So I had to get rid of all those things out of my life and just focus on the core things that I felt like are going to help me reach my goals. So like anything you do, you're probably going to feel some type of pain, but like you got to embrace that feeling of being miserable to get through it. But it has to be the right type. If it's not the right type, then you should just stop as fast as possible and move on to something else. And that's why I love reading this book right here. Let me get this. The Daily Stoic. I'm a big fan of the Daily Stoic. Learned lots of great principles in this book right here. Like that is a passage that I read. Every day you learn something new. And that's why I like reading so much, is because I gain wisdom so I can make better decisions or develop better strategies so I can make better decisions. And the goal in life is to make good decisions and avoid bad decisions as much as possible. If you can live a life where you're avoiding all your bad decisions, you're going to live a good life. Like if you constantly make good decisions along your life, it's going to lead to a good life. Yeah, of course, things happen and everything, but the idea is like, hey, you want to minimize your bad decisions. And if you can do that, life is good. And some of that is like, hey, reading. I was just reading The Count of Monte Cristo like a month. I finished that like a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago. And that book is long. That's 1,100 words. And it was painful to read at times, but I did by going through that pain of reading like, oh, I don't even understand what I'm reading right now. I had to read the cliff notes to truly understand what was going on. And in combination with the book and the cliff notes, it's like, oh, that's what that meant right there. Oh, that's what happened. And it made things like there. And I was like, oh, okay, I learned this, and this from this book. And this is just going to help me make better decisions down the road. Whenever that opportunity comes or that situation comes, I'll be ready for it. And it's like the military quote: "The more you bleed in peace, the less you bleed in war." So you just got to prepare yourself for those down moments. On average, every 90 days, something's going to go wrong in our life. And we just have to be prepared for it by building up our skills, building up our mental toughness, sharpening our mental skills, and just realizing that we are doing the things that we want to do in life and not doing things that we think are beneficial to others. So just try to live your life on your best terms. That's the best thing you can do. And to live your life on your best terms, sometimes you're just going to have to go through that pain. But realize pain instructs, but you don't want to suffer. Do this, you're going to have a good life. So if you're interested in getting a copy of my book, More You Know, More You Grow, How to Get Better Every Day, just go to my website, growwithjoe.me/book, and you can get the free audiobook right there. So and then you also sign up for my newsletter. Hope you enjoy the book. Lots of great lessons in this book. Over 39 different lessons that you can learn from, and just learn how to make better decisions or gain wisdom so you get better strategies to make better decisions. Do that, and life will be better. So enjoy the rest of your day. And remember, if you go with Joe, you can grow with Joe, because Joe knows dough.